The seniors housing market in America is very unique at this point in time, both from a demand and a supply standpoint. Supply-wise, it's very fragmented. About 80% of all seniors housing in America is owned by mom and pop operators, so there's a real opportunity for an aggregation strategy within the context of the sector. From the demand side, we've never seen the demographics like they are today. We're not going to see a decline in the age to 75 and older population really for the next 3.5 decades until the last baby boomer turns 75 years old. So that's the first time that's ever happened.
Well, I think real estate, first and foremost, Matt, is a really valuable asset for advisors and their clients to consider. The most important point around that is that the nature of those assets compared to what you would traditionally see, such as equities, bonds and listed property, is very different in terms of how they behave in different market conditions. So from a portfolio standpoint, they're actually very well suited in terms of the diversity that they can provide into a portfolio, and more importantly, the stability that you often see in these types of assets that we're actually looking at. The stability that we're seeing in terms of the cash flow actually means that through really challenging investment market environments, you actually get what we believe to be a pretty consistent outcome.
We are also in a marketplace that doesn't rely on public reimbursement. It's a total private pay marketplace, and it really is positioned well for the mass affluent in America. And so we feel like we're well positioned for an aggregation strategy to go in and acquire properties where we see great value add opportunities to reposition those properties and get them up to fully stabilized capacity within a growing demand base for this type of product in America. So we're real excited about the health of it, the positioning of it, and how our team is uniquely qualified to execute on it.
When we're looking at the US market particularly, our view really from a global macro perspective is that the US market is ahead of the curve compared to Asia and Europe certainly. So the opportunity set that we're seeing is actually better, more developed, and particularly in areas such as senior housing as well as obviously multifamily apartment dwelling. So from an overall perspective, we think that the pretty significant and quite accretive investment opportunities for our advisors and for their clients to consider. The one important element, obviously, whenever you're dealing with real estate, and particularly private real estate, is that liquidity component. So you need to be balancing that opportunity with how you achieve liquidity through time and the type of risks that you're taking on board, which are different to listed markets, but certainly, as I said, you need to be thinking about that from an overall portfolio construct. But we think that there is, as I said, a wonderful opportunity for investors through time.